Welcome to English Story Cafe. Today, we will explore Think and Speak in English. Imagine for a moment that you are standing on a busy street corner in a city you have always wanted to visit. Maybe it is London, with its red double-decker buses and the hum of history in the air. Or perhaps it is New York, with the towering skyscrapers and the electric energy of the crowd. You are there, taking it all in, and suddenly a local approaches you. They smile warmly and ask you a simple question. It might be about the time, or directions to the nearest subway station, or perhaps just a comment on the weather. It is a simple interaction, the kind that happens millions of times a day all over the world. You know the words. You have studied the vocabulary. You know the grammar rules. But in that split second, something happens. You freeze. Your mind goes blank. You feel a sudden panic rising in your chest. You try to formulate the sentence in your native language first, scrambling to translate each word into English, checking the order, worrying about the tense, and by the time you're ready to speak, the moment has passed. The person has walked away, or the conversation has become awkward. This is the reality for so many learners. It's the translation trap. It's the invisible wall that stands between knowing English and actually living in English. Today, we are going to dismantle that wall, brick by brick. We are not just going to talk about grammar rules or memorizing lists of verbs. We are going to talk about a fundamental shift in how your mind processes the world. We are going to talk about the art of thinking in English. The reason you struggle to speak fluently is not because you do not know enough words. It is likely that you know thousands of words. You can read a book or watch a movie and understand most of it. The problem is the bridge you have built in your mind. Right now, for most of you, there is a bridge between your native language and English. Every time you want to say something, you have to walk across that bridge. You see a dog, your brain says the word in your native language, and then you carry that concept across the bridge to find the English word dog. This process works fine for writing, where you have time to think and edit. But speaking is a fast river. You do not have time to walk across the bridge. You need to be on the other side already. Thinking in English is essentially burning that bridge so that you are instantly present in the language. You might be thinking that this sounds impossible. You might believe that you can only think in English if you live in an English-speaking country or if you started learning when you were a child. I am here to tell you that is a myth. It's a story we tell ourselves to justify the struggle. The truth is that thinking in English is a habit, not a magical talent. It is a muscle that you can build regardless of where you live or how old you are. It starts with the smallest, most seemingly insignificant moments of your day. Let's begin with the first step of this journey, which involves changing how you view the physical world around you. When you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you do? You probably open your eyes and see the ceiling. Then you might reach for your phone or look at the alarm clock. In that very first moment of consciousness, your brain is already narrating your reality. Usually, it's narrating it in your mother tongue. The challenge and the game is to intercept that narration. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, I want you to look at the first object you see. Let's say it's your pillow. Don't translate the word for pillow. Look at the object and attach the English label directly to the physical sensation of the soft fabric. Say the word pillow in your mind, not as a translation, but as the name of the thing itself. Then you stand up. You feel the floor beneath your feet. Floor. You walk to the bathroom. Mirror. Toothbrush. Water. This is the single word stage. It sounds childish, but it's actually incredibly powerful. You're training your brain to bypass your native language. You are wiring your visual cortex directly to your English vocabulary. You are telling your brain that this object is not just the word in your native language, but it is also, equally and validly, a toothbrush. You do this for a few days. You become a collector of English labels. You look at your coffee cup and you don't see it as anything other than cup. You look at the sky and it's simply sky. Once you're comfortable with naming the nouns in your life, you move to the next layer, which is verbs and actions. This is where the narration begins. Imagine you were the main character in a documentary about your own life. As you go through your morning routine, narrate what you are doing in simple present tense sentences. You are brushing your teeth. In your head, you say, I am brushing my teeth. You are putting on your shirt. You think, I am putting on my shirt. You are making coffee. I am pouring the water. I am smelling the coffee.
At first, this will feel slow. It will feel deliberate. You might even feel a little bit silly, talking to yourself in your head like a narrator. But think about how a child learns a language. They narrate everything. They point and say, doggy run, baby eat. They are connecting the action to the sound. You are doing the exact same thing. You are reassociating the physical sensation of living with English sounds. The beauty of this internal monologue is that it is private. No one can hear you. No one can judge your grammar. If you make a mistake in your head, it does not matter. You are in a safe space. This safety is crucial because fear is the biggest enemy of fluency. When you are afraid of making mistakes, your brain freezes. But in the privacy of your own mind, you can experiment, you can play, you can try to form a sentence, realize it sounds wrong and try again, all while you are waiting for the bus or washing the dishes. Now, let's step out of the house. You're walking down the street. This is your training ground. The world is full of chaos and movement, and this provides endless opportunities for thinking in English. Instead of just naming objects, try to describe the relationships between things. You see a car driving fast. Do not just think, car. Think, that red car is moving very fast. You see a tree swaying in the wind. Think, the wind is moving the branches. As you get better at this, you will hit a wall. You will see something, perhaps a specific type of flower, or a construction vehicle, or a strange emotion on someone's face, and you will realize you do not know the English word for it. This moment is critical. Most people, when they hit this wall, revert back to their native language. They think, oh, I don't know the word, and the English thought process collapses. Do not let it collapse. This is the moment to practice circumlocution. Circumlocution is a fancy word for describing something when you do not know the specific name for it. It is a vital skill for fluency. If you do not know the word for garage, do not stop thinking in English. Instead, describe it. Think, the place where people park their cars at night. If you forget the word for umbrella, think, the thing we hold over our heads when it rains. By doing this, you stay in the English zone. You refuse to leave the English frequency. You are training your brain to be flexible, to find a way around obstacles without giving up. This is exactly what fluent speakers do. Even native speakers forget words all the time. They do not stop speaking, they describe what they mean. When you master this skill, you become unstoppable because you no longer need a perfect vocabulary to express complex ideas. Let's go deeper. We have talked about the physical world, but what about the internal world? The world of feelings, opinions, and abstract thoughts. This is the advanced level of thinking in English. It is easy to say I am hungry, but it is harder to articulate frustration or nostalgia or anticipation. Start small. Throughout your day, check in with yourself emotionally. Ask yourself in English, how am I feeling right now? Maybe you're stuck in traffic. Instead of letting your mind wander in your native language, force the thought into English. I am feeling impatient. The traffic is very bad today. I hope I'm not late for work. This practice does something profound. It connects your emotional center to the English language. For many learners, English feels cold and clinical because it is used for business or exams. It lacks the warmth of the mother tongue. But when you start using English to process your own feelings, your anger, your joy, your boredom, the language begins to soak up that emotional weight. It becomes yours. It stops being a foreign entity and starts being a part of your soul. There is another powerful technique that complements this internal work, and that is conversation with the self. We all talk to ourselves. We debate decisions. We plan our weekends. We replay arguments. Start doing this in English. If you have a difficult decision to make, like whether to buy a new phone or save money, hold that debate in your mind in English. If I buy the phone, I will be happy, but it is very expensive. Maybe I should wait until next month. If you are brave enough, speak these thoughts out loud when you are alone. There is a physical aspect to speaking that thinking alone cannot replicate. Your mouth needs to get used to the shape of the words. The muscles in your face, your tongue, your jaw, they all need to learn the choreography of English. When you are alone in your room, or in the shower, or driving your car, speak your thoughts. Rant about your day, pretend you're being interviewed on a talk show. Tell a story about something that happened to you 5 years ago.
This brings us to a very important concept, the idea of the shadow. To think in English naturally, you need to have the rhythm of the language in your head. You need to know how English sounds, not just in words, but in sentences and paragraphs. One of the best ways to internalize this rhythm is through shadowing. This involves listening to a native speaker, perhaps on a podcast like this one, or a YouTube video, or an audiobook, and repeating exactly what they say almost at the same time. You are not analyzing the grammar. You are copying the melody. You are mimicking the pauses, the intonation, the way the voice goes up at the end of a question and down at the end of a statement. When you shadow, you are downloading the software of English flow into your brain. After a while, when you are thinking in English, you will start to hear that rhythm in your own thoughts. You will know a sentence is correct not because you remembered a grammar rule from a textbook, but because it sounds right. It fits the melody you have internalized. Let's pause for a moment and address the frustration. Because there will be frustration. There will be days when your brain feels like it is wading through mud. You will try to think in English and you will feel tired, and your native language will come rushing back like a flood. That is okay. It is completely normal. Learning to think in a new language is cognitively expensive. It takes a lot of energy. When you feel this fatigue, do not beat yourself up. Do not tell yourself you are failing. Just take a break. Or simplify. Go back to single words. Just name the things on your desk. Reset the mechanism. The goal is not to be perfect 24 hours a day. The goal is to increase the percentage of time you spend in English incrementally. If you thought in English for 5 minutes today, that is 5 minutes more than yesterday. Next week, maybe it will be 10 minutes. Another barrier people face is the need to be smart in English. We are complex adults with complex thoughts. In our native language, we can express nuance, sarcasm, and deep philosophical ideas. When we switch to English, we often feel like children again. Our sentences become simple. Our vocabulary is limited. We feel like we have lost our personality. This loss of identity is painful, and it is one of the main reasons people stop trying to speak or think in English. They hate feeling lesser than they are. But you must reframe this. You are not becoming stupid. You are becoming simple. And there is a great elegance in simplicity. Ernest Hemingway, one of the greatest American writers, used very simple vocabulary. He did not use big, fancy words to impress people. He used clear, direct language to tell powerful stories. Embrace the simplicity. If you cannot explain a complex political theory in English yet, that is fine. Explain it simply. Break it down. This is actually a great exercise in clarity. Can you explain your job to a 5-year-old in English? Can you explain why you love your favorite movie using only the 1,000 most common words? When you let go of the need to sound smart, you free yourself to actually communicate. You liberate your thoughts. As you continue this practice, you will notice something magical beginning to happen. You will start to dream in English. It might just be a snippet of conversation in a dream or a sign you read in the dream background. This is a huge milestone. It means the language has penetrated your subconscious. It is no longer just something you do consciously. It is running in the background of your operating system. To accelerate this process, you must immerse yourself. But I do not mean moving to a different country. I mean creating a micro-environment of English in your daily life. Look at your phone. Is the operating system in your native language? Change it to English right now. It's a small change, but every time you look at your screen, you are signaling to your brain that English is the tool you use to navigate the world. Look at your consumption habits. When you want to cook a recipe, do you search for it in your native language? Try searching in English. When you want to know the news, read one article in English. When you watch a movie, turn off the subtitles or switch them to English. You are surrounding yourself with the inputs of the language, which makes the output, thinking and speaking, much more natural. There is also a fascinating psychological aspect to this journey. It's the concept of the alter ego. Some people find it helpful to create an English-speaking version of themselves. This version might be a little more outgoing, or a little more direct, or perhaps more polite, depending on how you perceive the culture of the language. When you switch to English, you step into this character. It sounds like acting, and in a way, it is. Acting helps lower the inhibition. If you are shy in your native language, your English persona can be confident. Because you are using a different set of words and sounds, you are not bound by the same social anxieties that hold you back in your mother tongue. You can reinvent yourself. You can decide who you want to be in this new language. Let's talk about the silent period. In language acquisition theory, there is a concept that beginners go through a silent period where they listen and absorb but do not speak. As an adult learner who wants to think in English, you can induce a voluntary silent period. Dedicate a weekend where you do not speak to anyone or minimize it, and just listen and observe, but keep your internal narrative running strictly in English. Imagine a Saturday where you decide, today I am an English speaker. You wake up, you make your breakfast, you go for a walk, you do your chores, and the entire time you maintain that running commentary in your head. If you meet someone and have to speak your native language, do it. But as soon as the conversation is over, snap back to English. It is like holding your breath underwater. See how long you can go. The more you do this, the greater your lung capacity becomes. One of the most effective ways to solidify this habit is to link it to a trigger. Choose a specific activity that you do every day. Maybe it's walking the dog, or washing the dishes, or driving to work. Make a pact with yourself. Whenever I am doing this activity, I will only think in English. Let's say you choose your commute. The moment you step out of your door, the switch flips. You are now in English mode. You look at the bus stop. There are 3 people waiting. You look at the sky. It looks like rain. You think about your day ahead. I have a meeting at 10 a.m. You do this until you arrive at work. Then you can switch back. By compartmentalizing the practice, you make it manageable. You're not staring at the daunting mountain of fluency, you're just committing to a 20-minute walk. As we go further into this, we must address the role of reading. Reading is thinking with someone else's mind. When you read a book in English, you are essentially borrowing the author's ability to think in English. You are following their train of thought. This is why reading is so potent. It shows you how thoughts are structured. But don't just read passively. Read actively. When you read a sentence that resonates with you, stop. Look away from the page. Say that sentence in your mind. Try to rephrase it. Make it your own. If the character says, I was incredibly disappointed by the news, pause and think about a time you were disappointed. Apply that sentence structure to your own memory. I was incredibly disappointed when my team lost the game. You are stealing the grammar and pasting it onto your own reality. Now, let's discuss the connection between culture and thinking. Language is not just a code, it is a map of a culture. The way English speakers think is different from the way Spanish or Japanese or Arabic speakers think. English is often very direct. It uses I a lot. It loves action verbs. To think in English effectively, you have to adopt this mindset. You have to be willing to be direct. You have to be willing to structure your thoughts in a linear way, subject, verb, object. In some languages, the main point comes at the end of the sentence. In English, we usually put the main point right at the front. I bought a car. Boom. Information delivered. Then we add the details. I bought a car yesterday at the dealership. Adopting this front-loaded way of thinking will help your fluency. Stop trying to arrange the furniture of your sentence before you open the door. Just open the door. Start with the subject and the verb. I want. He went. We are. Once you have that anchor, the rest of the sentence will follow. Let's move to a practical exercise you can try later today. It's called the recall technique. At the end of the day, before you go to sleep, lie in bed and review your day. But don't just let the images float by. Narrate the day in English as if you're telling a friend what happened. First, I woke up late. I was stressed. Then I had a coffee and felt better. I went to work and answered many emails. This exercise is powerful because it deals with memory. You are taking memories that were formed in a mixed language environment and encoding them into English before you store them away for the night. It is a way of claiming your past for English. If you do this every night, you will find that your ability to tell stories, which is a huge part of conversation, improves dramatically. We have covered a lot of ground, but I want to circle back to the most important element: curiosity. Children learn languages fast because they are endlessly curious. They want to know what everything is. They ask why and what is that? Constantly. You need to rekindle that curiosity. Look at the world with fresh eyes. Look at a stapler on your desk. How does it work? Can you explain the mechanism in English? You push the top down, and a metal staple goes through the paper. If you cannot explain it, look up the words. Be hungry for the words. Don't just be a passive student waiting for a teacher to give you a vocabulary list. Be a hunter. Go out into the world and hunt for the words you need to express your unique life. There is a profound freedom that comes when you finally break through the barrier. The moment you realize you have been thinking in English for the last 10 minutes without trying is a moment of pure joy. You feel lighter. The friction is gone. You are no longer translating. You are just being. It is important to remember that this is a journey of 1,000 miles, but you do not have to walk it all at once. You just have to take the next step. And the next step is right now. As you listen to my voice, what are you thinking? Are you thinking, this is interesting? Are you thinking, I will try this tomorrow? Whatever that thought is, seize it, translate it instantly, make it English. Do not wait for the perfect time to start. There is no perfect time. There is no day when you will wake up and magically feel ready. You are ready now. You are ready because you have a mind, and you have a voice, and you have the desire to connect. English is not a subject you pass or fail. It is a tool for connection. It is a key that unlocks doors to billions of people, to vast libraries of knowledge, to cultures and histories that are waiting for you. When you learn to think in English, you are not just learning a skill. You are expanding the horizons of your own consciousness. You are giving yourself the gift of a second soul. So, as we come to the end of our time together today, I want to leave you with a challenge, not a homework assignment, but a challenge to your way of being. For the next hour, try to keep your internal radio tuned to the English station. Just 1 hour. See the world through English eyes. Name the objects. Narrate your actions. Feel your feelings in English. If you slip back into your native language, smile and gently bring yourself back. Be kind to yourself. Be patient. But be persistent. Thank you for joining me in the English Story Cafe. It has been a pleasure to guide you through this landscape of the mind. Remember, every fluent speaker you admire started exactly where you are. They faced the same confusion, the same pauses, the same frustration. The only difference is that they didn't stop. They kept building the habit one thought at a time. Now step out into your day. Look around. Take a deep breath and tell yourself in clear, simple English, I am ready. Until next time, Keep thinking, keep speaking, and keep telling your story.